Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us on another episode of Entrepreneurial Truth. On today's podcast, we have Sofia Pedroso. She's going to tell us about her business, where she started. She's going to tell you a little bit about her. Sofia, thank you so much for being on our show today.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me
Awesome.
and for having me.
All right, so tell our listeners who don't know about you or your business a little bit about you.
Well, I'm Portuguese and I'm currently living in Lisbon, and I work worldwide with people that are struggling with their businesses. Either because they are not growing enough or the growth is slow and they feel like they could do more and they are struggling with finding the right solutions to do that. I don't work with the strategy. I'm not a business coach. What I do is release the energy that is causing people to get stuck. So we in the Occident, we kind of see ourselves as separate, with separate parts, being physical one and emotional, completely different thing. Like if they don't interact with one another, and we think that life happens, and that we are powerless regarding our circumstances. And many years ago, when I started, I'm in 2010, I did my first certification in coaching, and I realized something that was powerful, but at the same time, it kind of put me in a bad position. It was powerful because I discovered that I could do anything. So my life was in my hands and I could move it as I wanted. But at the same time, because I was not being able to do it, it kind of pushed me down because I knew it was possible, but I wasn't being able to do it. I was kind of self-sabotaging myself.
Wow.
And that led me to leave coaching. For many years, I didn't use it. And until a few years ago, where I was in the middle of a big mess financially, and I discovered the concept that people um, get emotions trapped based whenever the events they are living are kind of overwhelming or painful, and we trap those emotions. And when I discovered that, I find out the key to put myself moving. I understood that there was nothing wrong with me. I was not stupid. It's not that I didn't have enough knowledge. It was just that I was not being able to deal with everything that I had lived before, and I was trapped in emotions, and that was causing me to become overwhelmed and not being able to achieve the goals that I wanted.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's really incredible how our emotions affect our business or our lives or every day. How would an entrepreneur that is currently in that situation identify that that's what's stopping them because they may not know that that's what's stopping them? What do you think are the clear like indicators to someone to look out for?
Well, if you feel that you are running in circles, that you are making a lot of effort, trying a lot of things, hustling a lot, and you still don't see results, we tend to kind of start looking at ourselves and start thinking that maybe something is wrong with us. Um, it's true that there are a lot of strategies out there, and a lot of people with good knowledge in that area that are teaching how to do things in order to have success. But when you see others having that success, achieving, and you aren't, and when that happens one time and a second time and a third time, then you start focusing on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem with this is that that leave us hopeless, because you feel that the problem is with you, but you don't know how to do it,
Right.
what to do with that.
Right.
Okay, if the problem is me, maybe I should stop trying. Maybe this is not for me. I did that at a certain point in my life. I thought, okay, maybe I'm not. This is not for me. I should stop and go and work for a corporate company, because definitely I'm not an entrepreneur. But my heart is, and I was in a constant conflict between what I wanted and what I feel that I was able to do, and that was dividing me and causing internal conflict, and causing also a lot of sadness and bitterness, I would say.
All right. So an entrepreneur is listening to this now and they're saying, okay, fine. I am now going to look into myself. What's the next step? So now you're now taking a look and saying, okay, maybe the problem isn't external. Maybe the problem is internal. All right. And they're now going to look at themselves. When you say look inwards and look at yourself, what exactly does that mean? And how can
I
someone
like
actually do that?
I like to make an exercise of kind of make a timeline and put the key events of my life in that timeline, and try to understand the connections and the patterns, because sometimes we are living in the present now, and we kind of put what's in your past under the rug, and we don't want to look at it anymore. But if we put it on paper and try to see, this is that I'm living now, where have I lived this before, in my, even in my business, or even in my personal life, because this also cross. So sometimes an issue that we have may manifest in many areas. So when we see that this is something that is repeating, maybe if with different lines, but it's repeating in the majority, then I have to work on trapped emotions. Anyway, all of us have trapped emotions. This is not something that is specifically just for the people that are having some kind of issue. We all have trapped emotions. I for many beginning of my business, I was not working specifically with entrepreneurs. I was working with any kind of issue, health, relationships, anything that would come up to me. And I was able to work with some little kids, and they also have trapped emotions,
Mm-hmm.
because we from the really early ages, we start to repress our emotions. We are trying to imagine, for instance, a kid that is playing with a friend, and the friend takes his toy and starts crying and full of anger and eating the other, and then moms come and they tell them that they need to behave, that they need to share, although that's what socially we need to do in order to have good relationships, and not teach the kids to have conflict and to resolve everything with conflict. At the same time, they learn that maybe their emotions are not valid, maybe they cannot feel them. And so we start on early ages to repress them. And we do that through all of our life. We hide what we feel, because we don't want people to see us as weak. We don't want people to see that we are upset. We don't want to show that someone hurt us.
Mm-hmm.
So put our face with a small smile, and inside everything is burning, and it's getting stuck there, because we are not allowing it to come out.
Yeah, yeah, and I first-hand knowledge on that. I remember being a kid, and my parents' friends, family members, they used to call me cry cry, because every single time I would get upset about something, I would just cry. Right. And it got to the point where I would hide and cry because, crying was obviously a sign of weakness and you're not supposed to cry. And that emotion being stuck, I am now hearing over and over that that's, trapped emotions. For someone like myself or anybody else that's dealing with something else, like you said, okay, well, in the playground, the anger, that's not good. Crying, that's not good. How can those things show up, and where do they show up in life, and what can they manifest as?
Oh, that's really difficult to tell, because it really depends
The person.
um, on the person and on their experiences. We are all different, so the way that we cope with something is different. If you and I, we were in the same playground, and we experienced the same situation, we would feel it in a different way. And because it also depends on what happened to us before, what we
Mhm.
bring from other generations and even from past lives, and even how we are at the moment. If we are a little bit sick, is different. If we had a previous experience with similar experience and the other didn't, it's different. So uh, I don't dare to try to identify how the subconscious does these connections and why, because it's so much, it's so wide, it's so
Mhm.
difficult to understand for us at the conscious level. Sorry.
Nice, nice. But okay, so let's say you're not able to maybe identify it.
I had
And
some cuts, Cassie. I couldn't understand the question. Sorry.
oh, I was saying, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe you're not able to identify entirely. Okay, well, um, these are the emotions that I'm feeling, but you can feel it in your body. Where are some places that people say that or where does emotion get trapped in the body that you know of?
I don't think that people are aware of it, but it can be in any part of the body. For instance, if you have, let's say, a pain in your knee, it could be due to trapped emotions only. I think many times those things that we go to the doctor, a little pain or something similar, that the doctor does not have a reason and nothing shows up on the
Can.
exams,
Mm-hmm.
yet many of them it's trapped emotions. Imagine that you fall from the bicycle when you were a kid, and you got some issue in your knee. It got a little bit of weakness, and because of that, it can happen that trapped emotions get stored there more easily than in other part of the body. Emotions, they are created in the body. Each organ creates different types of emotions, but they don't need to be trapped in that specific part of the body. It does not need to be in the same. It can be anywhere else, and it really depends on what's happening. So what I do is I go backwards. I connect with the conscious subconscious mind, and I ask what needs to be released in order to solve this issue, because
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I cannot answer you what happened was this and that. I don't know.
Right.
But your subconscious mind knows. So yeah, I can connect with it and get the information of what caused that and
Mm-hmm.
what needs to be released. Because and most importantly, what is key to be released, because we don't need to release every single emotion that is in our body. Well, I see this like a castle of cards. When you take the card from below, everything drops.
Mm-hmm.
So you just need to find what are the key emotions and the key imbalances and the key belief systems that you need to release in order for things to start unfolding and people start noticing changes.
Wow. Wow. As an entrepreneur, when you did this work on yourself, what were some of the key things that you saw happen after you were able to remove some of those blocks?
I think the first thing that you see is a change in your feeling,
Mm.
on the way that you feel towards things. It's like, when you have a problem with visibility and you think about posting something, probably when you think about it, you kind of feel like throwing up
Right.
or you just feel some disgust, you feel the need to distract yourself with some stuff, and you avoid doing it, or you do it but you don't feel well during the time that you are doing it. When you work on the emotions and imbalances that are causing that, you feel the will to do things, and things happen more easily. And when you have any type of issue, it's not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
So it changes your perspective. It changes how you feel towards things. So the problem is the same, and that's why I say this is not the power in our life is not the circumstances around us. It's how we look at them,
Mm-hmm.
and we can see that in people facing the same issue, one can go through it and another cannot, because their perspective of the problem is completely different. One feels small in front of the problem, incapable, and the other feels, no, I can deal with this, I can make it. And so the reaction itself causes that the actions that that person will take are different from one another, and so the result is different. So we don't act on the external circumstances, but in the way that people feel. And one of the things that I like to use is to measure the levels. You know the map of consciousness from David Hawkins? He has around 16 levels of he calls the human consciousness, and there's a lot of graphics on the web with the 16 levels, and the negative ones, they start on shame, guilt, apathy, grief, fear, desire, anger, and pride. It's the last one. Each one of these levels has a different vibrational frequency. So when you can have your overall energy level, but you can have a different energy level towards a specific thing. So if you are vibrating in an energy of grief towards your business, you will feel like, oh, I don't want to do that. Oh, I need to get up again. Oh, I have that call. Oh, I have to do that. Everything is done with sacrifice, because you don't have hope. And you cannot feel joy from the things that you are doing. If you are in the level of fear, you are in an energy of lack, always waiting for things to go wrong.
Wow.
And if you are in the level of desire, for instance, which for the name, based on the name, we would say it's a nice level. It's not. This is the level associated with addiction, and it's the one that is associated with we wanting something so much that we give in our principles in order to have it. So it may cause clients to feel that we are eager to have them. And it's the interesting is that people feel our energy. So if we are in these lower levels, all the business is affected by that. The way that we feel and the way that people feel and senses, it also differs. And I realized that what causes that, what makes our levels be in lower levels, and by the way, socially speaking, we are all, the majority of people live in the level of fear, and which is widely promoted by media and wars and everything else, right? And the economy and everything that's going on around us. So the majority of people live on that level, and that also attracts things on the same frequency level. So the type of clients that you attract are aligned with that level. The type of opportunities and the way that you deal with them, that it's all influenced by that. And I was saying that this is caused by trapped emotions and all the imbalances and all of your belief systems that keep you in a low frequency. When you start releasing trapped energy, your energy level starts to raise, and so things starts to change around you. Even in your relationships, In the past, when I worked with some relationships, I had cases where I worked with just one person, not the couple or not the mother and daughter, just one. And things improve because the other person reacts to the changes of the person that is being treated. That's how people sense our energy and how they react to it. So sometimes to fix an issue, we just need to work on one side so things start moving.
Hmm. Wow. Wow. Okay. So let's say we're now going to fix these issues, right? So we're going to look in, we're going to go and fix these issues. What kind of time frame can someone expect to start seeing some change, any change? And if it's not working, what should they do?
Well, if they, the time frame regarding the release of energy, what I do, let me explain this before. What I do is kind of restart the process of the emotion. So the emotion is born in the body, it should be experienced and then dissipate. And
Mhm.
this process is interrupted. So part of what I do is get that process back and complete it. So the release of the energy can take normally up to 24, 48 hours. In most cases, it's almost immediately. It really depends on how big that emotion is for that person and the issue itself. People can feel relief almost immediately. I work with another process that is works with emotions also, where we go to the first event that caused the issue that the person has. So go back in time to that specific event. And I've seen cases where 30 minutes later, the person is doing what she was not being able to do before the session because the shift was made. Then it really depends on how big is the issue. If you come to a session to work on all of your problems with money, let's say, for instance, then it will take probably more than one session because what happens is that our issues didn't start yesterday, they
Right.
start many years ago. And what we, by not treating them, by not being aware of what is causing this, what we are doing really is kind of collecting evidence that something is not working for us.
Hmm.
So, on that specific issue, if someone is having troubles with money, or if you are failing in your business and you fail once and fail twice and fail 3 times, then you start proving yourself that that doesn't work. So you have more and more stuff to release on that area. But the beginning, seeing the results is quite fast. If you have the issue completely solved or not, it will depend on how big, how profound we need to dig, let's say.
Hmm. Hmm. Wow, wow, wow. I'm loving this conversation because this really is touching on, I think, what people really are asking for, because it's you can have several conversations, you can hear all these different things, but you're not really getting it, if that makes sense. So I'm really really picking your brain here to help our listeners here, you know, really dive in. If you, Sophia, were giving your younger self some advice, sitting where you're sitting now, and you had three main things that you could have told yourself to say, hey, listen, this is something that you should identify. This is something that you should work on, and this will get you to where you need to be. But do it faster. What are the three things that you think would be most critical to give yourself to help you?
I would say to myself that I should not ignore my emotions. I should not put them aside. I should have and work my emotional intelligence. Many times we don't even know what we are feeling.
Hmm.
We know that something is wrong, but sometimes we confuse anxiety with anger. So
Right.
it's many times we don't know exactly what we are feeling. I would tell myself to give myself authorization to feel. We don't need, when we feel angry, for instance, we don't need to hit someone or kill that person, but we can express our anger in a healthy way and allow it to express without being hurtful for the other person, if I'm making myself clear.
Mm-hmm.
So, but allow the emotion to get out, not be stuck here in our body. And if I knew what I know today, I would check on myself regularly. And this is what I do nowadays. I would like to have started sooner, which is don't put anything under the rug. Just go there and check for that specific issue. What are the emotions that need to be released, and just release them? Because what I found out is that you have two levels, let's say, of work here in this area. You can go to the big issues and dismantle them, and you have the ongoing work, which
Right.
is okay. I'm okay. My business is okay, but now I'm facing a new situation, and I'm not reacting the way that I know that I should regarding that situation. So I should look into it and understand what is keeping me to react the way that I know that I should, because we know the way that we should react. So we can feel that I'm misaligned. I'm not doing what I would like to be doing. And if that's the case, there's a belief system, there's a set of emotions, there's a lot of body imbalances that need to be addressed in order for you to shift and start moving in the direction that you want to move.
Wow. Okay. You've now identified all these different things. You're now shifting. What if you have a client, right? So you're working on this new version of you. You've now released that energy, but you are dealing with clients that you attracted when you were in that lower vibration, and they are bringing those things to the surface for you. How do you fix yourself while still being in the middle of that turmoil?
First thing to do is to raise your vibration, because if you raise your vibration, the people that are in the different vibrational level will go away. They will change their attitude, or they will just move and go to another place. So by working on your energy level, or your frequency, it will change the things around you. That would be the first thing that I would do. If there is a client that is triggering something in you, that's something you need to pay attention to. That's something that you need to uh, look and see why is this annoying me? How am I reacting to this? And what situations did I had in the past that was somehow similar to this? Because sometimes, and also what's triggering in you, what are the type of emotions, because maybe you feel, and I had this in the past on myself, when I was feeling like a victim, and those situations were showing me that. So I had to work, and I had some belief systems around that topic that I had to release. So we should see what's happening around us as information, and not so much as something that is happening for us like a punishment. I think that's many times we feel it like things are like we are being kicked from life, and not actually just seeing information, because we need to understand that our subconscious minds does not speak to us the way that we speak to each other. So it uses different ways of communication, so that we have a way to interpret. I think we missed when we are born. We missed an instructions guides that we are missing. regarding our emotions and regarding how our subconscious mind works. I think it's the most important thing, and we don't know how to use it.
Mhm.
The subconscious mind talks to us through images, to feelings, to sensations, and it shows us around us what we need to see. So the problem is that we are so much looking to the outside and looking for solutions on the outside and not so much looking on the inside. And another thing that I would like to add here is that much of the work that we do when looking inside adds more stuff to our already busy schedules. I don't know if that's the case for everybody. I'm sure it isn't, but for many people, I believe it is. That's okay. I already have a busy schedule. Now I need to meditate. Now I need to do affirmations. Now I need to do this. Now I need to do that. And
Yeah,
I already have
exactly.
so much. And my principle is the opposite. I'm not against meditation. I like meditation. I also like affirmations. Nothing against those practices, but if they are doing them are draining you, and if you are doing it with the energy that this is an obligation, then it's not the right path.
Right.
And the right path is to remove. It's kind of, I've seen from a colleague of mine a video that she did some time ago, where she had a lot of clothes put on, and she started in the video taking one and the other and the other and the other and the other, and it's like this. It's we are life is putting more stuff over us.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, many people I think that are listening to us can have the sense that I am so different now from who I was when I was 16. It's
Mm-hmm.
like I lost that nerve, that courage, that life is mine. I do what I want. Kind of, it's kind of like we lose some of our fire with the years going by.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that many of us, we associate that with all the obligations that we have in life. We are getting older. Age is a big excuse. It's not true. What we have is we are carrying so much more weight than we were at the beginning. And if we lose that weight, then we can go back to who we were. I usually say that I'm going back to myself. I feel
Mm-hmm.
more of myself each day, to the person I was when I was 16.
Love that. I love that. Like, I wish that I could go back to that person. And
That
that
person is you. It's not a different person. That person is you. It's not a different person. It's just that it's like if you have put yourself in bed and then you put a lot of things over and you don't see yourself anymore.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
That's just it. If you
mm-hmm.
start taking things from above you, you will find yourself again because you are there.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. And for our listeners out there, if that is you, like you feel like you're in other sense drowning, or you have like multiple layers on like an onion, right? It's time to peel it back. And I've never heard anyone quite say it like that. Instead of, I always hear, oh, you need to be doing this and you need to do that. And I love the fact that you're like, no, no, no. If it doesn't feel comfortable, remove some of the extras. uh, can you dive into that? What does that look like? Removing some of those layers. How do
Many
you
of
how do you get better if you're removing and not adding a practice to make it
because
better?
we don't need so much. We don't need so much, and I don't think that it's not a matter. It's not that I don't think that we should have things. I like
Right.
money. I like having good things. It's not that. It's not at that level, but we, especially in our time, we put too much
Right.
in.
Right.
To the point that we don't have patience for our kids.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have time for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We don't rest properly because we feel guilty when resting. we don't enjoy life because we are feeling that we should be elsewhere doing something else that is in our agenda. And we have our calendars full of things, and that also adds a lot of stress, feeling that you have a lot to do and you cannot do everything. And we should be getting simpler in the sense that I should be able to do what I feel like doing. And this is quite challenging because we feel that we need to do several stuffs in order for our business to progress. If we don't post every day, if we don't go to that networking event, if we don't start X conversations, then our business will die. And what I say is that is coming from a level of fear.
Lack.
This is you saying that if I don't do this, everything will drop.
Mm-hmm.
The phases of my life where things went better and I had bigger, I raised the level higher, was in the moments where I was most relaxed. And relaxed doesn't mean that you stop doing things. It's just you're doing it completely present. You are enjoying what you are doing. You are not rushing yourself. You are not stressed all the time. Stress makes us heal. Mm-hmm. We need to relax. And when we are in a level where things are coming, I'm enjoying, I'm giving myself time to see what's happening around us. I think there's a lot of opportunities. Sometimes we just don't see them because we are rushing so much. We are just focused on that. It's just that it's what they say that it's working, and we go there. But the truth is that you are missing some stuff that probably is passing through and you are not seeing because you are just like that.
Oh.
And I did a bold move recently. I decided to try to see what AI would say about what my marketing strategy should be, based on my human design, my numerology, my the astral map, and then several other items, and just to see. And I'm not specialized in any of those areas. So for me, human design is a lot of information that I need to process. So it's difficult for me to really understand what can I do with that because I didn't have the training on it. So I just added what was my data on that specific items on AI, and the profile that I got for myself in terms of advertising and in terms of marketing was slow marketing. And I look at it and I thought, oh, that's amazing. Because it really fits who I am. And I didn't tell him I like marketing or I don't like, I want to do this or I'm doing that. I didn't tell him anything. And he just came up with the type of strategies that I could use that I feel that I already did this in the past and worked very well. Mm-hmm. And he told me not to do what was stressing me. So I was kind of surprised. And this is against our nature because we tend all to go to social media. And we don't realize that by going all to social media, we are kind of all in the same boat. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of boats around. They are empty. Because people are going all to the same boat. Yep. So the other channels that are becoming less, they're having more space for you to promote because they are not being used. Yep. And this is an example of how we can do less. We should do aligned. What makes sense? What makes you feel good? Because if you are doing something, if you are posting on social media, and you are struggling with it, you need to do one of two things. Or that is not your channel. Yeah. Or if it is, then you need to work on energy. Because you should be happy posting. Mm-hmm. You should be enthusiastic. You should be waiting to see what people say and can't wait to go and interact. If you are not feeling this, then something is wrong. Either
Mm-hmm.
this is not for you because we are unique and the strategy is not the same for everybody, or then maybe that's the place, but there's energy, there are belief systems that are keeping you from enjoying that process. And people will feel, your market will feel. That's why there are people building audiences organically with ease, and others are struggling a lot to do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Agreed. Agreed. I think that you can actually pick up on people's energy, right? So on social media, there's so many different, people, that content creators that are out there, and you literally can kind of feel who resonates with you, and it's like I was speaking to someone yesterday on another episode, and I was telling them it's so funny that I've been attracting on this podcast people that I am so much more aligned with, right? So, in terms of energy, the energy just feels good, the conversations flow, but I could be doing something completely different, and it's a totally different feeling, a totally different energy, you know.
Yeah.
And I feel like the reason why is because this platform was created purposefully. It was to serve the version of myself that was looking for this, looking for people like you, like the other guests that we have had, that are so, free with giving information, and just really a pleasure to speak to, and just really great people, you know.
What you're saying is that the energy is different because you are doing this for yourself. You could, even if you didn't have any audience, you would love to do it because
Absolutely.
you enjoy, and that's the right energy when you are doing things. Even if you weren't paid, even if you were tired, you would love to do it also anyway. Then that's the right energy. But
No,
that's not what the majority of us are doing.
no, no, and it's very fascinating to me, and I really pray that every time we do a show, the people that are supposed to hear. And I feel like the people are hearing. The people that it's meant for, they're hearing. I've had guests come on and say, someone reached out to them, and it literally, they're finding their people through speaking on this platform. And I want to
Yeah.
ask you at this point, if the person that is meant to hear you is listening to you now, how can they find you?
Well, I'm having two main points. I'm on social media, but I'm not. That's not my favorite platforms. I'm just launching a school community because I want to teach more, and that's a better space to do it. I don't not know if you can share the we can share the links later.
Absolutely.
And my website or on Facebook, they can find me. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So for our listeners out there, you can find her on Skool. What is the name of your school community?
Unlock growth.
Okay, so school community is Unlock Growth. And for anyone watching us on YouTube, I will put all the links below the episode so that you can grab it, the links, you can connect with Sophia. And, if she's your person, I highly recommend going. She's such a beautiful soul, such a beautiful person. I highly recommend finding her, seeing how she can help you unlock the growth within. I love it. Sophia, thank you so much for being on here. And if you had to leave our audience with a tool to help them, what would that tool be?
I think that the best tool that we have and that I use in part of my sessions, we all have and we don't use it enough. It's our imagination. We stopped using our imagination when we were kids because we were not allowed to have more imaginary friends and we need to grow up and become responsible. But the majority of the big changes that we can do in our bodies, it part of it is using imagination. So I would say the best tool I can suggest. And this is something that I'm going to have on Skool, a lot of guided, I call them guided shifts. It's me guiding people through a visualization where they can see where the problems are and they can understand where they are stuck. So if you just close your eyes more often and allow yourself to imagine the things you want, you will see that you get stuck in some of them. You will see there are some that are difficult to imagine, or that you always get distracted when you try to see them. And that's resistance. That means that your body feels that it's not safe to have that specific goal. And that's goals in order for you to go after and just unlock that area, that specific area.
Wow. Thank you so much, Sophia. Thank you so much to our listeners. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for taking the time to listen. Please find her on Skool. And if you like the episode, please share it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Sophia. It
Thank
was a
you,
pleasure having
Cassie.
you on.
Thank you, everybody. Share the episode. Thank you so much.
Thank you.